Entrepreneur, author, activist, and longtime friend, Mllik Ahmed is today's guest on The Bernie Hayes Show. And welcome back. My guest is Mllik Ahmed. Malik, how are you?
I am doing fine, Bernie. How are you?
And it's so good to see you, man. You're looking great.
Man, it's so good to be on your show. We go back so many years.
I'm telling you. Should I give it a greeting? Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
That means a greeting of peace, right? That means peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to be at peace with each other, and we want to see peace re-enter the world, especially peace in our community.
Malik, you've been in St. Louis so long, people consider you a St. Louisan, but you're really from New York.
I'm from New York. I'm from Harlem, New York,
From Harlem.
in particular. I've been here for almost 40 years, and from the day I got here, I started organizing.
Yes, you sure did.
So I certainly feel like a St. Louisan, but I am a Harlemite at heart.
Tell us about the book, Malik, From the Projects to the Pyramids, In Search of a Better Family Life.
Oh boy, this book is a book that has taken me over 20 years to write.
Wow.
I was working on this book as I was working in the development of Better Family Life. Mm-hmm. But the book is more about a journey that almost anybody has to undergo from childhood to manhood. And the fortunate thing for me, in Harlem, it was just such a rich university of learning and activism. Some of the greatest leaders to have an impact on the world came out of Harlem. Yeah. And I was able to bathe in all of that rich, wonderful leadership. And my family was very active in the civil rights and the Black Power movements. And I came into who I am through that process of family, the interaction or the interconnection, the intersection of family and community and social movement. Wow.
Chapter 1, the Abraham Lincoln Housing Projects. Tell us about that.
Man, there was a public housing project in central Harlem that was a village. I mean, the sad thing that we see today is that public housing gets such a bad reputation. But growing up in the 1950s into the 1960s, the Abraham Lincoln Housing Projects was a village. People were poor and working class, and some had middle class aspirations, and they worked together. There was a lot of social harmony. There was a lot of families working to compete with each other, working to excel, working to do all kinds of good community things. Back then, the entire community was like your family. Right. And you have a lot of mothers and a lot of fathers who looked out for you, coached you, counseled you, soothed you, healed you. And, we never thought of ourselves as being poor because we were not poor in spirit. We were very rich in spirit.
Mm-hmm. That's the same what it was for us growing up on Chicago's South Side. Yes. And also those who grew up on the West Side. It was a village. It was a family. Yes. It was community. It's cultural. It's part of our culture.
Exactly.
You've got so many. The table of contents, man, this reads unbelievable. The Abraham Lincoln Housing Project, an African village in Alabama, New York City, the South Bronx, moving on up, a big, bad, fighting family. Omar Returns, the Sowers, Tony and Clara Thomas, social consciousness. And that's what I know about you, Malik. For the many, many years I've known about you, it's always been about social consciousness. And from your humble beginnings here in St. Louis, Missouri, to where the stature you've attained now, it's almost unbelievable. And I guess it seems a short time to me, but it's probably been quite a distance and quite a journey for you, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, in St. Louis, Bernie, I love telling every audience that I have the fortune to talk to that the Bernie Hayes show, your radio show, did a lot to promote better family life. We would not be the organization that we are today if it had not been for you and all of the good work that you did in bringing better family life's community activism and programs to the attention of the St. Louis metropolitan area.
That's kind of you to say, Malik. Thank you.
Yes.
But you did it. It was your work. It was you and Devorah. Your work is classic. Your work is known nationwide and actually internationally known.
Yeah, I give so much credit also to not only my mother and father, but I had an older brother, Mllik Ahmed. And Omar was in the military in the 1950s, the mid-1950s, and he was in the Air Force. And one of the places that he was stationed in was Morocco, North Africa. And in 1958, when he returned to the family, he returned as Mllik Ahmed. We were, our last name was Thomas, and he came back with this whole revolutionary concept about, black people, the world, Islam. We had to be involved in our community, that we need to organize our family to be involved in social activism. And so at a very young age in my life, I was introduced to all of this energy. And it was so, well placed in the Harlem community. The emerging countries of Africa coming out of colonialism into independent nations was taking place. They were going down to the United Nations. There was still discrimination in New York housing. So a lot of the African diplomats and ambassadors, they moved into Harlem. They moved right across the street from the housing projects that I was a part of in a place called the Lenox Terrace and another place called the Riverton. In fact, Paul Robeson lived in the Riverton, and Langston Hughes lived a few blocks down the street. And so, Malcolm was at the hem of the Nation of Islam in Temple 7 in New York. And Adam Clayton Powell, Reverend Adam Clayton Powell, was the congressman who was setting the whole country on fire.
Right.
So all of this, Bernie, was right in the midst of where I was growing up. Dr. Ben lived in the same housing complex in the Lenox Terrace as my brother Omar. Dr. Clark, John Henry Clark, lived two blocks down the street. It was just so many just wonderful things. Ruth Brown, I talk about in the book. Ruth Brown, the blues singer, and I know you'll be very pleased with this. She was someone that allowed me to deliver her packages, carrying her package groceries to her house, and she would tell me about the nightclubs that she was singing in and all the rest of that stuff. In fact, even offered to buy me my first pair of Converse. Mom's Mabley lived right across the street in the Lenox Terrace. So it was just so rich. It was a rich history. It was a village. It was a black village.
135th Street, something else.
Yes.
Lenox Avenue. Malik,
in fact, right on 135th Street is on Lenox Avenue, you just mentioned it, it's the Schomburg Library.
Right, and Teresa Hotel.
And the Teresa is on 125th Street.
Yeah, 125th.
Yes, by the Apollo.
But Schomburg, I thought 135th,
Yes.
We got so much, we're talking about so much, we're running out of time. How can we reach you, first of all, and how can we get the book?
The book can be purchased online at Amazon.com, or you can get it at the Better Family Life Cultural Education and Business Center, which is 5515 Page Boulevard, or you can get it at the Progressive Emporium. If you email me, I will, and send me the money, of course, I will sign the book. So So any way that you want to get this book is a must book. It is, it just, as I said, it not only tells a story about a family that does incredible things, but then it tells about the formation of an organization that is now going national.
Okay. Let's, so the Better Family Life building and the 5301. 5415 page is just west of Union.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so we want to know.
Yes.
We'll be right back. We're at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. Reverend Larry Rice is doing the same projects that he's done downtown at 1411 Locust Street. And we'll be right back after this message from Reverend Larry Rice.
Will you help New Life Evangelistic Center get back into 1411 Locust Street? Your tax-deductible gifts are urgently needed at this particular time, and there's many different ways that we're working to get back in that facility. One of the ways is to continue to inform the community through the Bernie Hayes Show and other programs. And if you haven't supported the Bernie Hayes Show and the work of New Life Evangelistic Center, please do it now. It's urgently needed. Your gifts are deeply appreciated. So many homeless people are waiting to get back into 1411 Locust, and so many others need the direct help that New Life is trying to provide at this time, but is facing some real financial needs, and that's why your gift is very, very important. And to express our thankfulness for all of you that are sharing your gifts, we want to send you this special Bernie Hayes cup. It's my wife's favorite drinking cup. She loves to drink out of this cup, and this is actually the only coffee cup she wants to use is the Bernie Hayes cup. There's something very special about this cup, and we'll send it to each one of you that share a gift of $25 or more with the New Life Evangelistic Center and ask for your Bernie Hayes cup. It's P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. Your gift will not only help us get back into the 1411 Locust building, but will help our first responders that are on the streets, the first responders that we have out there day after day, night after night. It will help keep our women and children in our safe houses, continue to keep our training programs open, our worldwide mission work, whether it's in India, Haiti, Africa, so many different things the New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. In addition to NLEC TV, tell your family and friends about it. Put it on your phone. Put on your get that phone app on all your friends' phones so that they can all see the Bernie Hayes Show or go to 24.2. It's your prayers and gifts that make all of this possible. I thank God for those of you who continue to pray for the reopening of 1411 Locust and the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. There's so many obstacles we're facing as we try to help the homeless, but we're going to continue to give it to God. We're going to continue to pray. We're going to continue to work, but we need you to partner with us. So again, it's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. I thank God for each one of you that are praying, caring, and sharing.
And welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is Mllik Ahmed. This is his brand new book. It's called From the Projects to the Pyramids, In Search of a Better Family Life. And Mllik Ahmed is my guest today. Malik, why should we buy this book? What will we get out of this book? Well, how will it help the community? How will it help us in general?
The book is an inspirational book. Mm-hmm. First, in addition to telling about the story of a family, it tells the story of a family that influences a community, and that the fruit of that influence is this wonderful organization called Better Family Life.
Better Family Life.
Better Family Life is a guide, it's a blueprint on how one can organize their community and stay relevant and stay very intentional about making really positive, constructive change. The book details how we've gone from one level of development, a minor, what some people would think of as a minor level of development, into a major institutional thrust. With the unity of several families, we had the privilege of working with so many young people from Washington University and others, as well as seasoned community activists and just parents who had concern about how their children would be raised in the community. And from that assortment of people, we developed a village concept, right, which is what Better Family Life is really all about. It's a village concept of that the fundamental needs of a community is first to secure the family. And once the family is secure, then you spread that out, and that everybody that comes into that circle becomes family, so that the family becomes a circle, become a island of protection, of encouragement, of nourishment, of looking at specific problems in the community that we can make an impact on.
Hence the title, Better Family Life.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
The many endorsements. Eugene B. Redmond, Poet Laureate at St. Louis. Mary McKay, PhD, Conference Corporation, and Needoff Family. Mike McMillan. I mean, you got so many endorsements here, plus the current board of directors of Better Family Life. You've got people who love this book, people who read this book. I've read this book twice. I got it as soon as it was released out there at the airport, if you remember.
Yes.
It's just so much in it, Malik. We could spend so much time talking about each chapter. Yes. But being an activist, again, your activism didn't start here. Here you are marching with Dr. Martin Luther King and others. All the photographs that you have in this book, beginning on page 168. I mean, there you are. Wow, United Nations, Malik and Charisma in 1967 March, the United Nations, led by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Wow, the Abraham Lincoln Housing Projects in 1965. Here you are with young Mike McMillan, really young Mike McMillan. So many people. There's the Malik Hajbaz, Malcolm X to us.
Yes.
And there's Deborah, you're in Africa, the pyramids. Tell us about your travels, Malik, and how they bettered you.
Oh, boy.
How you became a better person.
I think the first travel, Bernie, was traveling with a basketball team and going all over the tri-state area in New York City. And then going to Canada for the World's Fair in 1966 in Quebec. And that was my first encounter with a foreign language, French in particular. And that opened me up. In 1960s, I was 15 years old, and that opened me up in ways that is still reverberating in my mind right now. To be in a foreign country out of America, yet that country seems so much like America. And from there, the traveling bug really hit me. So throughout college, I traveled all into the Caribbean islands, Haiti, Puerto Rico, St. Croix, Jamaica, the Bahamas, and was getting a touch of the Black world. But it was not until 1977 when I had a chance to become a Peace Corps volunteer and worked in West Africa in the country of Mali for 3 years. Yeah. And in that 3 years, I had the privilege of traveling all throughout West Africa, learning the cultures, learning a little French and a little of the indigenous language called Bambara. Yeah. But more importantly, building a sanitation project for the capital city of Bamako. Okay. And then Deborah and I, we were blessed to go to Ghana, and we went to Egypt to visit the pyramids. So that's the last chapter of the book on that whole visit to the pyramids. And then we start traveling to the South American countries, Bolivia, Peru, Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama. And then we wanted to go to Asia, and we went and checked out China. So part of this urge to travel is to see the cultures of the world. Sure. And then see how you can incorporate, or how we can incorporate the best of those cultures into what the better part of family is all about. So Better Family Life is a concept that takes the cultures of the world, the cultures of people of color, and incorporate it into our social, cultural, community activist position. So we're not just about programming, we're about changing the mindsets of people.
And you have quite a collection, art collection from around the world, Malik, and a lot of people don't know that, but I do, and it's man, it's rich. And,
Yes.
and I assume that's part of your life. You and Deborah must really enjoy collecting these wonderful things from different countries.
Oh boy, we do. We do. I mean, we have a business called B for Positive Products and Marketing. And yes, when we travel around the world, we make it our business to collect the cultural artifacts of these countries. And what you see, Bernie, is that when you go into the world of color, that could be India, Nepal, Dubai, Africa, Egypt, Costa Rica, you find a similarity in patterns. You find a cultural thread.
Let me cut you off just for a second, Malik, because we're running out of time in this segment. And I want to get your information back up on the screen so people can know how to reach you and get this book again.
Yes.
Tell us how.
Oh, please get this book. This book is a wonderful blueprint.
How can we get it?
You can get it on Amazon.com, or you can come to the Better Family Life Cultural Education and Business Center and get it at 5415 Page Boulevard. You can go to Progressive Emporium Bookstore, which is on North Sarah.
1408 North Sarah.
1408 North Sarah.
Right.
You can also get it through me at my email address is MllikAhmedBFL@yahoo.com.
Okay.
All of those sources. And then we will eventually have it in all of the stores.
And Facebook.
And yes, you can go on Facebook and message me on Mllik Ahmed Author. So there's a number of ways that you can get this book by just simply reaching out. But I'm telling you, when you get this book and start reading, you will not be able to put it down.
I totally agree.
And this book is an inspiration for young people in particular. So for those parents that have young people who may be not going on the right path, this is the book that would help get them on the path.
This is the guy.
There was nothing unique about me. I was a young youth in Harlem that have a lot of the wayward ways that most young people have.
Let's talk about when we come back. We've got to do a break. We're just a little bit late for a break. We'll be right back with that.
Yes.
Here's, we're at 1408 North Kings Highway. That's where you can get the book also from the Roberts. We'll be right back with Mllik Ahmed after this.
Hello, I'm Larry Rice. Let me write you a creation prescription at this particular time. A prescription for healing, a prescription for hope. And that prescription is spending 30 minutes to an hour outside, experiencing God's wonderful creation. Job, in the middle of all of his affliction, let down by family and friends, when taken and beholding God's wonderful creation, experienced a healing in his soul. Read it yourself in Job chapter 39 through 41. Till finally Job declared, before I heard about you, but now I really see you, God, experience you in a new and powerful way. Paul speaks of how Christ holds all things together in Colossians chapter 1, starting at verse 15. Get up now, go outside, spend some time in creation, experience God's healing power in your spirit. Let him lift that high blood pressure and heal you from that stress and that anxiety as you take this creation prescription and move in the wonders of all of God's great creation.
We'll return to our guest after this Black History Moment. Today's guest is Tarana Burke, African-American civil rights activist. She's most well known as the founder of the Me Too movement in 2006, which she has blossomed into a worldwide campaign to raise awareness about sexual harassment, abuse, and assault in society. Burke was born September 12, 1973 in the Bronx. She started her professional career in Selma, Alabama, where she worked with the 21st Century Youth Leadership Movement, the National Young Voting Rights Museum and Institute, and the Black Belt Arts and Cultural Center. In 2017, Burke and other influential female activists were named the Silence Breakers by Time magazine. She currently serves as the Girls for Gender Equity in Brooklyn as its senior director, and Burke is currently writing a memoir, Here the Light Enters, the founding of the Me Too movement. Tarana Burke.
Hear this, you who trample the needy and do away with the poor of the land. Let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. You trample on the poor and force him to give you grain. Therefore, though you have built stone mansions, you will not live in them. Though you have planted lush vineyards, you will not drink their wine. For I know how many are your offenses and how great your sins. You oppress the righteous and take bribes, and you deprive the poor of justice in the courts. Seek good, not evil, that you may live. Then the Lord God Almighty will be with you, just as you say he is. Hate evil, love good.
And welcome back with Mllik Ahmed. We're talking about his brand new book, From the Projects to the Pyramids, In Search of a Better Family Life. And Malik, I see you, all the wonderful photos in here. Also mentioned here you are hugging Dr. Ben Yakinen.
Yes.
You see John Henry Clark lived across the street from you. This is just fantastic. But
Yes.
Malik, how can we get the book again? Tell us how that.
The book can be purchased online with Amazon.com.
Okay.
You can get the book at Better Family Life Cultural Education and Business Center, which is 5415 Page Boulevard. You can get the book at Progressive Emporium Bookstore, which is at 1408 North Sarah. You can get the book by emailing me at at Mllik Ahmed, BFL@yahoo.com. I will autograph the book. The book only costs $25 and shipping and mailing is an extra $5. So there's so many ways that you can get this book.
And it is a family guide.
It is really a family guide, and it's also an organizational guide.
Sure.
Everybody in our community ought to be a part of some organization. Better Family Life is an example of how you can follow a path on organizing and getting yourself up and going. You're going to encounter some roadblocks, but that should not deter you, because you need to we all need to organize our communities. We need to organize our families. We need to organize our churches. We need to organize our civic associations to look at ways that we can improve our community and our people.
You know, let me give a personal testimony here, because throughout the years, you've come to my assistance and my aid. You personally, as a person, and Better Family Life, have assisted Bernie Hayes in many, many ways for over many, many years. And I want to say thank you so much for all that you've done for me, Malik, personally. I want to say that to you.
You're welcome, Bernie.
That's the truth.
You are a jewel in this community, and I will come to your aid for the rest of my life.
You and your wife have never failed me. And
greatly
this is
deserving.
wonderful. But I wanted to get people to know that I've read this book. This book is a jewel. This book should be in every household. Tell them once again why, Malik, it should be here.
It's a blueprint. It's a blueprint for community development. It's a blueprint for personal development. And it's a blueprint for how to guide our young people in these perilous times that they are dealing in.
Malik, also, you know, we're going, when this show airs, the presidency will be decided by that time. But we have about 30 seconds. Tell us the importance of coming together and the power of one's vote.
Listen, we need to vote. A lot about how we live, the quality of our life, takes place in Washington, D.C., takes place in Jefferson City, and takes place in the mayor's office. Voting is essential for freedom.
Right.
And so we are free-loving people, and we know that we are not getting our fair share. One of the ways is exercising your power and your right to vote.
Mllik Ahmed, I just want to say thank you for taking time to come out here during this pandemic to visit with us here at the New Life Evangelistic Center, and personally with me, Bernie Hayes. Mllik Ahmed, to the family, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day.